They say the animal distribution system is just a joke, a made-up internet thing, a coincidence. I don't think so, because sometimes the timing is too perfect. Sometimes it knows exactly when you need a friend, even if you're convinced you don't. And today's letter? It's proof that the ADS plays the long game. Welcome to Phoenix Fortis, where real stories of resilience, hope, and redemption take flight. I'm your host, Diane. Have you ever heard about the ADS theory? It's a strange, magical, completely unstoppable force that delivers the right animal to the right person at the exact right time. Some people call it the cat distribution system. Others swear by the dog distribution system. But I think of it as the animal distribution system. There's no application process, no shipping fees, no return policy. You can't scroll through options or track it like a delivery. It doesn't work like that. The ADS doesn't answer wants. It answers needs, even the ones buried so deep you've forgotten they're there. And the ADS doesn't care if you say, "I'm not ready." It just waits, watching, patient, until one day, a kitten shows up on your porch after a heartbreak, or a scrappy mutt you meet on a detour you never meant to take. It doesn't always make sense in the moment, but in hindsight, it feels like destiny. Today's letter is from a man named Luke who lost his best friend, his dog, Duke, and swore he'd never get another, but the ADS had other plans. Dear Phoenix Fortis, 4 years ago, I said goodbye to my best friend. His name was Duke. Yeah, I know. Luke and Duke. Sounded like a cartoon duo. But that was us for 11 years. Through job changes, bad relationships, and the kind of days that knock the wind out of you, Duke was my shadow, my alarm clock, my let's go for a walk, even when I didn't feel like moving. One week he was fine, bounding after his ball in the yard, wagging that thick tail like a metronome. The next, the vet was saying words like late stage and there's nothing we can do. Cancer. Aggressive. Unforgiving. It happened so fast I barely had time to understand what was happening before I was on the floor of the vet's office, holding his head in my lap, telling him over and over that it was okay, that he could rest. The silence afterward was crushing. The first night without him, I swore I could still hear him breathing. I'd catch myself turning my head, expecting to see him curled up in his bed. That bed sat empty for weeks. I couldn't bring myself to move it. It felt like moving it would mean he was really gone. That kind of grief. It hides in the corners, in the small rituals you never realized you'd made. I'd wake up and still reach for his food bowl. I'd get home from work and still glance toward the door, expecting him to be there, nails clicking on the floor, whining like I'd been gone for years instead of hours. But there was just nothing. People asked if I'd get another dog. I said no. I meant it. I couldn't go through that again. The joy, the years, the goodbye. So I shut that door in my heart and tried to live without it. Years passed. I got used to the quiet. Or maybe I just got numb. Friends told me I wasn't the same. More distant, more tired. And maybe they were right. Then one night last winter, walking home in the bitter cold, I spotted a shape under the bus stop bench. Small, shivering, way too skinny. I told myself, keep walking, but I didn't. I crouched down and this pair of big brown eyes met mine. Not scared, just tired, like he'd been waiting. I told myself I was just taking him home for the night, just until I found his owner. I put up flyers, called shelters, nothing. And every night, he curled a little closer to me on the couch, as if he knew I wasn't as closed off as I pretended to be. By the end of the week, I stopped saying, if no one claims him, and started saying, we need to get you a collar. His name is Ranger. And here's what I know now. Ranger didn't replace Duke. He never could. But he brought me back pieces of myself I didn't even realize were missing. Morning walks, laughing at the way he tilts his head when I talk to him, feeling the weight of a warm body leaning against my leg when the world feels cold. It took me years to understand, but the animal distribution system was never about replacing what you lost. It's about knowing when you're ready to love again, sometimes before you do. So, to the ADS, thank you for ignoring my no. You knew better. A new believer, Luke. You know, I've been doing this show for a while now, and if there's one thing I've learned, it's that the universe, or fate, or whatever you want to call it, has a strange sense of timing. It's like the ADS has this quiet, cosmic GPS. You don't see it coming, but when it shows up, you realize you've been waiting for it all along. I don't know about you, but I felt that one. Luke's honesty, that raw, unfiltered grief, and then that hesitant opening back up to joy, it's powerful. Sometimes the bravest thing we do is let love in again, knowing it might leave. But love doesn't leave you empty. It leaves you changed. That's the thing about love, especially the kind that comes from animals. It never really leaves. When Duke was gone, the house wasn't just empty, it was missing life. Missing the sound of paws on the floor, the reminder that there's someone happy you exist, simply because you exist. Ranger didn't erase Duke's paw prints. He just started walking beside them. And in doing so, he gave his human permission to feel again, to connect again, to open the door just a crack, to joy. Sometimes the animal distribution system doesn't just bring you an animal, it brings you back to yourself. To Luke, thank you. Thank you for letting us meet Duke and Ranger and for trusting us with a story that holds both the ache of loss and the light of renewal. Your journey reminds us that while love can leave a mark when it goes, it also leaves a map for finding our way back. And sometimes the ones who help us read that map walk in on 4 paws without asking permission, but knowing exactly where they're meant to be. Maybe you've had your own ADS delivery. A cat who wandered into your backyard when you were at your lowest. Or a dog you rescued, only to realize they'd rescued you too. These stories matter, because for every Luke, there's someone else still in the quiet, still in the grief, still waiting. And sometimes hearing a story like this is what helps them believe that their own delivery might be on the way. We'd love to hear that story. Send your letters to phoenixfortistales@gmail.com. Because here at Phoenix Fortis, we believe these stories matter. Not just for us, but for the people still waiting for their own delivery. To all our listeners, here's a hard truth. Sometimes we convince ourselves we don't need love anymore, just because we're afraid of losing it again. But love, in all its forms, is what brings us back to life. And animals have a way of reminding us of that, even when we're sure we've closed the door for good. If Luke's story touched your heart, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Not just to help our channel grow, but because you never know who might hear this and feel a little less alone tonight. Or who might pause when they see a furry shadow under a bench and recognize the quiet whisper of the ADS at work. This has been Phoenix Fortis, where stories of resilience, hope, and redemption take flight. I'm Diane, and we'll be back soon with another story of healing, unexpected connection, and the quiet ways love finds its way back to us, sometimes on 4 paws. Until then, take care of each other, take care of yourselves, And if you're in that quiet place now, the one where the house feels too still, the walks feel too long, and the nights feel too heavy, hang in there. The ADS doesn't work on our schedule, but it does work. And when the time is right, it finds you. So if an animal happens to cross your path, maybe pause for a moment. The animal distribution system works in mysterious ways. If you'd like more reflections from Diane's hard truths, be sure to check out our Phoenix Fortis shorts, brief moments of insight for the days you need them most. And as always, keep rising and keep the door open. You never know who might walk in on 4 paws.